Will we see the US dollar pull back to 102 to daily demand this week? Let's talk about it in this week's Forex Forecast. As always, guys, starting things off with the DXY, the US dollar. The past week, the banks added 1.7 thousand longs, and they also added 205 short positions. Now, looking at the DXY here, first let's look at the top right chart right here and the bottom right chart. As you can see, we've lost momentum. We had a very clean 1 hour uptrend, and we actually lost momentum here. We created supply and we broke below this upward trend line on the 1 hour chart. Now if we go to the 4 hour chart, we didn't quite lose as much momentum, but if you look clearly, we did lose some sort of momentum. We were pushing up, momentum was holding, all of a sudden boom, we pushed down. And if you look here, clearly the momentum has changed, but the overall trend is still up, and that's pretty much undeniable in my opinion. Now onto the weekly chart here. Remember guys, weekly demand is control. We have a lot of profit margin to the upside on the US dollar. I'm not saying we're going to get all the way up to this supply at 110, but all I'm saying is that the US dollar is certainly looking strong right now. Now if we look at the daily chart, we are inside of some sort of buying. If I were to draw, now in my opinion there is no zone right here because it didn't really remove anything, but in my opinion this is a level of buying because we pushed up, paused, and rallied. So that's an example of a rally-based rally demand zone. So there is some sort of buying here, and I think that's why we are seeing that move up on the DXY. Now it's definitely possible that we do roll over back to 102 to daily demand. So if we do pull back to this daily demand, it's a great area where we can look for potential swing trades long on the DXY. Now, here's what I'd be looking for. So let's say you didn't know what to do on the dollar right now. Well, what I'd be waiting for is to see what happens around this 1 hour supply. So if we push up to this 1 hour supply, if we break it, then obviously we're probably most likely going to break the high and continue up. Now, this could also be an area where, hey, maybe you look for potential day trading shorts in the US dollar pairs. So I'd pretty much be revolving my trading around this 1 hour supply zone to see what happens around that zone. So I don't necessarily want to trade counter trend to the 4 hour chart and short, but we could definitely see this 1 hour supply zone, or even this 4 hour supply zone, which is embedded, or the 1 hour supply zone is embedded in the 4 hour supply. We could see it used to actually push price down to daily demand, because after all, guys, we have had a pretty steep push up, so we kind of are due for a pullback. But until we can start to see supply zones being respected, we need to probably continue to look for longs on the DXY. Euro US dollar forecast. The past week, the banks got rid of 8.2 thousand longs, and they also got rid of 242 short positions. Now, looking at the weekly chart here, we'll do a top-down perspective here. We are definitely inside of some sort of weekly demand. Now, if you look, this weekly demand was formed back here. We tested it once, but very, very deep. So that's a sign. If you guys are not familiar with supply and demand, I'll let you in on a little bit of a tip. When price pulls back this deep into a zone, it makes the second test for the zone very, very low odds. So for example, let's say price pushed down to this demand zone down here, and we just wicked into it like that. Well, at that point, looking for a second buy in this area is definitely decent, because if you look, we just barely hit the zone. So that's when you trade supply and demand, these are the things you definitely have to consider. So with that being said, we are coming in for a second test into weekly demand. So what that means, if you want to short the euro, since I do believe this is probably going to break based on it being tested, if you want to short the euro, it doesn't mean that you can't short, but it needs to be trading with caution. And with that being said, it might be best to actually trade with less risk. So let's say you usually trade 1% or whatever. Maybe this time you trade 0.25% or 0.5% based on the idea that we are at tested weekly demand. So keep that in mind as we go through this analysis. So just like the opposite of the DXY, looking at the daily chart, I kind of am expecting that move up to here on the daily chart, up to daily supply, where I would definitely be looking for a potential swing trade to the downside. So that's pretty much the daily chart. No need to really consider anything else. Yes, we could push down to this daily demand. I'm not a fan of buying this daily demand because of how much it's been tested. So that's for a different topic. As far as trading it goes now, if you look at a 4-hour chart, we have this 4-hour supply zone. It is in control right now. Now, this is actually a supply zone on the 4-hour chart that I pointed out for the Diamond members, this little 4-hour supply zone. So you definitely could have got a trade off of that supply zone. This is actually a great example of, it was barely tested. There's pretty much no drawdown on this trade. So if price were to come back up and test it a little bit deeper, I think it's actually good for another potential short using, day trading confirmation, obviously because it's been tested. But this is just a fantastic example of, this trade was barely tested, so it's actually decent for another short. So if price does pull up to that supply zone, we could look for another day trading short. Also, if you were bullish, which I'm personally not, but we could see that move up. We are into some sort of 1-hour demand here. We could see a small move out of this demand zone, but pretty low odds in my opinion. I think what we've seen here is pretty much a very large fake out to the upside, pushing up to that 4-hour supply, and we know we're pushing down now. So as far as trading the euro goes, guys, I haven't been trading it. I did point out this 4-hour supply zone. I did not take that trade, because I'm personally just waiting for this daily supply zone to be hit so I can look for swing trading positions. But as far as day trading goes, guys, yeah, we could see a small move to the upside off this 1-hour demand, but I think the highest odds thing to be doing is to continue to trade with the overall momentum to the downside. All right, on to gold, XAUUSD forecast. Looking at the weekly chart here, first let's look at the call report. The past week, the banks added 1.1 thousand longs, and they also got rid of about 7.4 thousand shorts. Now, looking at the weekly chart, if you guys have been following my analysis for a while, still patiently waiting for this deeper pullback to weekly demand. I'm not a fan of trading in chop like this, so I am still waiting for that weekly demand zone to be hit. Now, doing a full top down here, looking at the daily chart here, we did react off this daily supply zone to the downside, and where I think we're headed now is probably to 1930, to this fresh area of demand. Now, this demand is pretty low quality, as in I'm not a fan of the doji candle, but we certainly could see a move off the zone. I would not be looking to buy I would not be looking to buy gold until we can at least hit this daily demand, because everything in here is just a lot of sideways price action and a lot of chop. So as far as trading gold goes now, if you want to trade short down to 1930, really all I'm seeing are these two 1-hour supply zones right here. At 1977 at the high one, and then at this one at 1962. So we definitely could see moves off of these zones. These zones could be areas where you look for potential 5-minute or 1-minute day trade confirmation trades off of those supply zones, down to, like I said, 1930. But I would be very, very cautious, because we actually did get some sort of 4-hour confirmation here at 1943. I am not saying that we will probably see this go to all-time highs from this zone, but I definitely think we will struggle to get through the zone, whether we push up to here or we just push up to here, or even just a little baby push up and then a break. I would definitely be trading with caution around this 4-hour demand. Now remember, this 4-hour demand is not located inside of any type of weekly or daily demand zone, so it is low odds, but it doesn't mean we won't see a reaction off of it. So with that being said, you could also look for day trades in here. But remember, since this 4-hour demand zone is not the highest quality, if you're going to look for day trades in here, you definitely can, but lower risk is probably the best decision. If this was in daily demand or weekly demand, then I would say use full risk and look for longs. But in this instance, it is not. So this 4-hour demand should be traded with caution. So maybe use less risk if you want. And then as far as shorts, like I said, I pointed out those 1-hour supply zones, and also if we break this 4-hour demand, leaving us the 4-hour supply, that would be your potential trade as well. But we are going to be coming in contact with that 1930 daily demand zone, so we definitely need to be trading short with caution. So as far as we go now, like I said, we have the two 1-hour supply zones for shorts, and then for longs, we'd rather wait for 1930 for daily demand, but you could also look for longs inside the 4-hour confirmation zone at 1943. All right, on to the USDJPY. The past week, the banks added 19.5 thousand longs, and they also added 3.9 thousand shorts. Now it is time for me to do a trade review. One trade I took on USDJPY last week. Now, last week I identified this 4-hour demand zone located at 138.69. Now, I pointed out this demand zone in last week's Forex Forecast, as you can see on the screen now, ahead of time, unlike a lot of the traders out there do. So I did point out this demand zone ahead of time, just wanted to point that out, and look at the reaction we had to the upside. Now, I did not take this whole demand zone like this on the 4-hour chart. Instead, I actually identified this lower time frame zone, this 1-hour demand zone that is embedded inside of the 4-hour demand zone right here. As you can see, It wasn't the highest quality demand zone because it was pretty much a reaction off of this demand zone, but look at the move up we had from this zone. So that's why I drew this zone right there, because it was also embedded inside the 4-hour demand zone with a daily uptrend. So I was simply trading with the trend and I simply bought the pullback. Now we did have immediate drawdown, but we pretty much got out of that drawdown almost immediately, and my 5-to-1 take profit was actually hit. So that was a spectacular trade. I'm very, very happy with the trade. And yeah, that's USDJPY. That was the trading setup, a 1-hour demand zone embedded inside of a 4-hour demand zone, along with, you know, the overall daily uptrend pulling back into some sort of daily buying area as well. So that was a setup. Just wanted to point it out to you guys. And if you guys want to be alerted about potential setups like that, as I go through the daily market breakdowns for the members, check it out. Check out the Diamond membership. We also have a lifetime access membership as well. But as you can see, all of these clips are from the daily market breakdown videos, which, you know, I go over every day. Every day I come to the charts and I basically hit record on Zoom and I record the watch list. I'll point out zones like this, supply zones, demand zones, all of that stuff. I'll talk about trend. It's basically just a quick little 10-15 minute video about what I'm doing throughout the week and what I'm looking to potentially trade. So if you want to check that out, check it out. Links in the description down below to the Diamond membership. So as far as USDJPY goes now, guys, the trade has already taken place. We've already reacted off the 4-hour demand zone. So we really don't want to be, you know, chasing price to the upside. Now we do have this fresh 1-hour demand zone at 139.776. We could see a day trade off of that demand zone. I think that that's fine. But remember, we are pushing up to this daily supply again for the second test. So it is a little bit sketchy right now to be trading. What I'm personally going to be doing is waiting for this 1-hour uptrend to continue by breaking this high on the daily chart, and then I will actually continue to look for longs, you know, especially if we can break this daily supply. That would be an indication we continue to look for longs and get another trading setup like the one I took here on USDN on the 4-hour, 1-hour demand up to weekly supply at 146. So that's what I'm personally going to be doing here on USDN. And as far as shorts go, I'll be completely honest and straightforward with you guys. I see no short setups right now. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree, and that's completely fine with me. That's what makes a market, disagreeing, right? So I don't see any supply zone setups. Nothing fresh here. Nothing fresh here on the 1-hour chart either. So in my opinion, we just need to be patient, wait for the 1-hour uptrend to continue, and then look for longs and continue to look for longs. GBPUSD forecast. The past week, the banks added 1.1 thousand longs, and they also got rid of 529 short positions. We will do a top-down approach here. I was hoping we could push up to this fresh supply zone on the weekly chart at 1.29, but unfortunately, we actually got hung up around this downward trend line. So I'm actually kind of expecting this downward trend line to break, as we've already reacted off of it. So unfortunately, no, I don't think we will be having a deep pullback on the weekly chart in the pound. And as far as trading it goes now, this chart's actually looking somewhat similar to the euro, where on the euro we also have a daily supply zone above at 1.26. I would prefer to potentially short the euro rather than the pound based on the macro charts, but we're not going to get into that. So as far as trading the pound goes now on the daily chart, I mean, we have fresh demand down here and fresh supply. Any one of these zones, you could look for maybe 1-hour potential swing trades off of any one of those daily demand or supply zones. And as far as the 4-hour chart, we actually already had a move off of this 4-hour demand right here to the upside. This is actually another 4-hour demand zone that I pointed out to the Diamond members in the daily market breakdown. And now we pushed up. We have fresh 4-hour demand here. But I'll be honest with you guys, this 4-hour demand zone is extremely low quality. I do not expect this zone to hold. I'm not saying we won't see a small reaction off of it. So if you want to trade in this 4-hour demand, I would certainly, you know, be potentially just looking for day trading longs. Now, if you want, you could actually draw the zone like that and ignore that emotional wick, and I think that's probably the best option. So, in my opinion, 4-hour demand right now is in control. We could see a small move off that zone, but day trading confirmation on a 15-minute chart is definitely going to be needed here on the GBPUSD. All right, guys, onto the USDCAD. The past week, the banks got rid of 1.3 thousand longs, and they also added 17,000 shorts. Looking at the weekly chart here, hoping, you know, the next couple weeks we can pull back to this fresh weekly demand zone at 1.31. So that is the larger move I'm expecting to see, although I've been saying that for a while now, and we keep getting held up by this support level here. So I am expecting price to actually push below that purple zone. down to fresh weekly demand at 1.317. Now, looking at the daily chart here, just a lot of sideways price action. If we just kind of zoom out on the chart here, just sideways, right? Yeah, there are some zones, being respected and pushing off of it, but just not the time to be trading. Now, I did point out this daily demand zone for the members, but obviously price blew right through that zone as if it wasn't even there. And I was talking to them and I was saying, that's just the reality of diddling in the middle here, guys. That's why this zone is purple. In my opinion, it's just higher odds to be trading at the zones at the extreme like that. Not necessarily always at the extreme, but if price is going sideways, it's always best to trade at these zones that are below the sideways price action or above the sideways price action rather than diddling in between. So with that being said, looking at the daily chart here, I'm not really seeing anything for buys. Yeah, we do have demand here, but it's basically just a reaction off of the previous demand, and the zone has been tested several times. So for shorts, yeah, we could look for potential day trades off of this daily supply zone at 1.35. But I personally think the higher odds zone is right here at 1.37. So if we do push up to there, I think that is the best area to potentially look for potential day trading shorts or even just swing trading shorts. As far as day trading it goes, I would pretty much ignore this 1 hour supply zone. It's not bad, but I would probably ignore it. And we actually have 4 hour supply 1.356. We could see a move off this 4 hour supply as it is actually located in the daily supply as well. So we push up to this 4 hour supply, we could see a move off of it or this supply as well. So if you're short, I would be focusing on these two 4 hour supply zones. If we actually end up blowing through them, well, no problem, because we have the daily supply above at 1.37. That's higher odds. All right, on to the USDCHF, the Swiss franc. The past week, the banks got rid of 2.2 thousand longs, and they also got rid of 1.7 thousand shorts. Looking at the daily chart here, we have daily demand at 0.899. We have daily supply at 0.912. We've already reacted off of this daily supply zone. I'm really not surprised. But if you can see in the daily chart here, pretty bullish green candle. So to me, it's not really looking like we're going to pull back to this daily demand. But if we do, it could be an area where you look for longs. Shorting, it's a little risky right now. We can go to lower time frames in a minute, but if we actually end up breaking this daily supply as well, any daily demand here could also be used for longs, just like this demand as well. But at the end of the day, guys, we do have daily supply, in control. So what does that mean? It means that we could actually be looking for shorts. We already had a short trade off of this 1 hour supply right there, so that trade already worked out. So as far as trading it goes now, what I'm liking here is this 4 hour demand zone. We've reacted off of it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. So there clearly is demand here. So if we do actually push below, breaking this demand zone in the upper trend line, and we're left with 4 hour supply, that would be your 4 hour confirmation. So if that takes place, that would be my short sell. That would be my short indication. And as far as longs go, guys, I'm not seeing anything for longs until we can actually push down to the daily demand. If we do, then I would look for longs. And as far as longs go, if we just continue to push up, we need to actually see this daily supply first before we continue to look for longs. All right, on to crude oil, the last market here. We have the banks. They added 4.4 thousand longs, and they also added 35,000 shorts. Now remember, we have weekly demand, 3-month demand, and daily demand all in control right now. So shorting is not the best option, in my opinion. Yeah, we could see price pull down, but there's so much demand in control that shorting is actually the lower odds thing to be doing right now, in my opinion. So as far as longs go, I mean, look, if we get something like this where we break this low, we have the ability to draw the downward trend line on the 4 hour chart, then okay, at that point I think day trading short is on the table. But right now we're just going sideways. So I mean, based on all the higher time frame demands in control, we need to be looking for longs. This is a very poor quality demand zone, so I actually would rather look for this 4 hour demand zone. This is a demand zone where you must look for day trading confirmation in. Now this one down here is a little bit better, and if you want to refine your entry a little bit, we do have some 1 hour demand zones down below that you could refine your entry in. But at the end of the day, guys, higher time frames demands are in control, so we could see oil push up to $88 a barrel. I've been saying that for a while now. We just need to finally break out of this entire range we've been in. But at the end of the day, like I said, higher time frame demands are in control, so we need to be looking for longs, in my opinion. I hope you guys found this weekly Forex forecast helpful. If it did, I would really appreciate a like and a subscribe if you are new to the channel. And as always, check out the YouTube and Patreon membership if you want to get my daily chart analysis and much, much more.